Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Please stay with me for the next 10 to 15 minutes as I highlight the latest news events and provide commentary for February 13th, 2026 regarding local, regional, international, security, political, and social issues. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the North Central Regional Health Authority has announced an expansion in its healthcare delivery, recording an increase in diagnostic imaging and a strengthening of surgical services across its network. These developments are part of a push by the current board and executive management to reduce waiting lists and improve patient outcomes. In a major breakthrough for public health care, the NCRHA recorded an increase of over 40,000 diagnostic scans compared to the same period last year. The surge covers critical testing areas including magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, and computed tomography scans, CT scans, mammograms, ultrasounds, and X-rays. Chairman Tim Gopi Singh noted that upon assuming office in August last year, the board inherited a substantial backlog because of PNM, of course. Immediate changes were implemented following consultations with the radiology department to aggressively address these delays. CEO Badasi Sitahal Maraj emphasized that early detection through these scans reduces disease progression and decreases the economic burden on the public health system by preventing unnecessary hospitalizations. Giving credit when credit is due, I'm telling you, in spite of my issues with the Kamala Prasad administration when it pertains to increasing of taxes and fines and so forth, definitely they govern the country and manage the nation in a much better way than the People's National Movement. Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisesa has extended heartfelt congratulations to Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley on a historic third consecutive victory in February 11th, 2026 general elections in Barbados, describing the landslide result as a clear reflection of a strong leadership and the enduring confidence of the Barbadian people. I don't know. Isn't this the second time that the Barbadian Prime Minister has called an early elections? It's not a bit strange. And nevertheless, besides that, she promotes a lot of globalism and leftist type of policies, socialist type of policies. And therefore, she's not really a leader that I support personally. But nevertheless, yes, congratulations. The National Agriculture Training Initiative has officially launched in the Mayaro constituency. Member of Parliament Nicholas Morris says the program marks tangible progress for farmers in the area following multiple visits by Agriculture Minister Senator Ravi Ratiram to communities including Kernaham, Ottawa, and Guayari South. According to Mr. Morris, the visits were aimed at addressing long-standing concerns raised by farmers for the past 10 years under the PNM. From access roads and bridges to expanded opportunities and infrastructure support. He says the launch of the initiative signals a commitment to improving farmers' livelihoods and strengthening their contribution to national development. And this is what I've been saying for a long time now. As much as we need Petrotrin and the energy industry as the backbone of our economy, we have to do like Guyana, which is to diversify and therefore invest a whole lot more, show a lot more attention to the agricultural sector. And thankfully, thus far, we are seeing that is what the Kamala Prasad administration is doing. Guyana's President Dr. Irfan Ali has outlined an ambitious vision for Bartica and the wider region of Region 7, declaring that the once sleeping township is now at the center of a deliberate, people-centered transformation driven by massive investment in mining, infrastructure, health, education, and social services. That's all part of the normal trend in the Irfan Ali administration serving the people. Speaking on the program Tea on the Terrace in Bartica, the president highlighted that Region 7 contributed 41% of Guyana's gold production in 2025, with small and medium-scale miners declaring more than 105,400 ounces of gold, generating approximately $88 billion in revenue. More than 3 months after Hurricane Melissa battered western Jamaica, life in sections of Darlaston and Westmoreland remains defined by darkness, uncertainty, and mounting frustration as residents continue to grapple with prolonged electricity and water outages that have disrupted daily life and tested their mental health. Darlaston, Westmoreland have been living without electricity since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. One resident told the Jamaica Gleaner, during a visit to the community. My response, meanwhile, and I've been saying that many days now, meanwhile, world leaders, many countries, including America to an extent, but many countries, especially in Europe, continue to provide millions of dollars in humanitarian aid to Gaza. Meanwhile, to Hamas, especially in Gaza, meanwhile, there are actual places in Africa and even here in the Caribbean that needs genuine help. 2 Mexican Navy ships laden with humanitarian aid docked in Cuba on Thursday as a United States blockade deepens the island's energy crisis. The ships arrived 2 weeks after President Donald Trump threatened tariffs on any country selling or providing oil to Cuba, prompting the island in recent days to ration energy. Now, in Trump's mind, he's doing this for the right reason, is to remove the Communist Party from office. The thing about it is, when you're taking these type of harsh measures, it's not really going to affect the government leaders, It's the people, the citizens of the country that will be adversely affected the most. The Mexican government said that one ship carried some 536 tons of food, including milk, rice, beans, sardines, meat products, cookies, canned tuna, and vegetable oil, as well as personal hygiene items. My response, if Trump doesn't intend to take necessary actions, right actions, people, appropriate actions, But nevertheless, if Trump doesn't intend to take the necessary actions needed to restore democracy in Cuba, he should remove all sanctions that have been placed on the island for decades. This diplomatic pressure hasn't been effective for decades and has only led to increased poverty amongst the mass population in Cuba. This isn't like Russia, Russia has powerful allies on that side of the world. We're talking about a small island like Cuba. When you put pressure on them, basically it is the citizens that end up suffering the most. In the case of like Iran is actually planning to attack other countries. And yet even in Iran, how much longer will you continue to try to use sanctions and so forth and make deals with the Ayatollah? The citizens of the nation want change. The citizens of the nation want restoration of democracy. Take appropriate action. Airports in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been allocated EC $62 million in this year's budget. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. Godwin Friday, said the airports will receive major upgrades and operational improvements. If you want to really expand your economy, you need to invest. Like how the opposition leader in St. Vincent and the Grenadines right now is condemning the government, the new government, spending more money. You have to spend in order to expand it. It's just like when you have a business. You have to use more of your money even the profit that you're making in order to be able to expand. So they're on the right track for now.
It is distressing to note that the runway at Argyle International Airport has been experiencing surface challenges, to put it mildly, in some areas for a long time now, and that over the years this problem has required frequent interventions to patch up the damaged sections. This has resulted in flight disruptions and modifications. The work required to fix the runway permanently was delayed and not done under the previous government. Given the critical importance of the airport to our economy and personal mobility, it is unfathomable why this was so. As such, the government has commissioned consultants who are conducting a comprehensive technical study of the underlying problems causing the frequent damages to the runway. We are awaiting the findings and recommendations of this study.
International news now. Vice President J.D. Vance stated, well, look, the president has told his entire senior team that we should be trying to cut a deal that ensures the Iranians don't have a nuclear weapon. As I just said just now there, how many times will you make that same deal? It's over a year now that you've been, or at least about a year now, you've been trying to make that deal with the Ayatollah. You really expect them to change now, Trump? But if we can't cut that deal, then there's another option on the table, and that is the appropriate option. So I think the president is going to continue to preserve his options. For how long? Another year, JD? One of those options is a credible military action. The Pentagon announced on Wednesday that a second aircraft carrier is preparing to deploy to the region. This adds to the presence of the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier, along with F-15 jets, F-35s, and air refuelers, creating a massive military buildup. So, of course, they're preparing. But that's the thing about it. His statement to the Iranians was premature. If you knew you wasn't going to intervene in a short space of time, you should have stayed quiet. And don't tell the Iranians to go out there and protest because help is on the way. Because help is on the way extremely slowly. And they're still, at this point in time, they don't even know if that will be actual real help. Or if you're just going to make some kind of deal with the Iranians, the Ayatollah, which of course we all know will end up breaking that agreement. Some good news now. The U.S. House has passed the Save America Act by a 218 to 213 vote, sending it to the U.S. Senate. Hopefully no rhino Republicans will end up voting against it in the Senate. The bill would require voter ID and citizenship verification to cast a ballot in elections. That is something that the rest of the world, including here in Trinidad and Tobago, require. You must be a citizen of the nation, number one, and you must carry some form of ID to verify your identification, people. That is not anything out of the way. That is basic requirements.
On this vote, the yeas are 218 and the nays are 213. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Closing off now with the interesting facts segment. Hungary has introduced heated winter tunnels to help stray dogs survive freezing temperatures. Hungarian cities, including Budapest, have installed solar-heated tunnel shelters designed to help stray and homeless dogs survive brutal winter temperatures. These long insulated walkways use solar heat captured during the day to stay warm at night, often 10 to 15 degrees Celsius warmer than the outside air, even in sub-zero conditions. The design doesn't need electricity or fuel and protects dogs from the wind, snow, and frostbite. Animal welfare groups and local volunteers helped place these structures in parks and areas where stray dogs gather. Dogs are more likely to stay in these warmer tunnels, which reduces stress and prevents dangerous exposure. The shelters work by trapping sunlight through insulated panels and releasing the stored heat when the temperature drops, making them a low-cost, sustainable winter solution for vulnerable animals. God gave us the responsibility to take care of animals, from the very beginning when creation began. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.